Hi, I'm Linda Willow Roberts with another episode of How to Manifest, Magical Manifesting Conversations. And today I've got to talk to Crystal Farrell from America. Crystal is fondly known as the Empress Crystal. She's from the Dragonfly Moon, and she's an intuitive medium. She does past life regressions. She's a Reiki master, a life coach, a clairvoyant, and a psychic. And please welcome Crystal. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, everyone. How are you this evening?
Hi, I'm so pleased to talk to you. We sort of chat, but we haven't really talked face to face, and it's great to have you on. So thank you for making the time to be on.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really fun.
Yep. So we're talking about how to manifest. So a lot of the spiritual leaders around the world, I'm talking to different people, have all started because they had challenges first off in their life. And I just wanted to know, is that why you went on your spiritual path? Did you have challenges early on?
Well, growing up, I grew up in a home that was both very loving, but also very dysfunctional. And growing up in a dysfunctional home, you tend to try to find something for comfort. And I grew up being able to know things that nobody else knew. I grew up seeing and talking to spirit and knowing when things were going to happen and when they weren't. Stifle that down in order to fit in my home.
What was the first step that you took from that? So it's hard when you're feeling alone and you're in at home and you're younger. So what was the first spiritual step that you took to help you?
Well, oddly enough, I used to just walk around outside barefoot. And I would talk to my guardians and my guides, and I would ask them for guidance as to what I should be doing and what I should be looking out for and who was there to help me.
And so what did that manifest for you? So what sort of information, what did they guide you to help you at a young age?
Well, they guided me to people that could tell me things were going to be okay, that even though things didn't look like they were supposed to, that I was going to be all right. And it led me to a path of a good group of friends, a good source of positive energy, and that sent me in a trajectory of a direction that I probably wouldn't have gone in. And it led me to the path of higher education, where in turn I met a lot of wonderful people.
Yeah, that's really good. So that put you on the path. So what did you do with the higher education, just so that we've got a bit of a progression of Crystal and how you manifested your life?
Well, I always wanted to either go into education or medicine. So for a time, I was a level 2 emergency medical technician, and I was a teacher. And as I grew in my teaching career and my family, I didn't have as much time for the medicine. So I ended up with 8 New York State teaching certifications.
That's really impressive. So Spirit really did help you early on and guide you to what you were here to do. And so how's that career spanned for you? And how do you combine your analytical teaching mind and the spiritual? That would be a little bit hard to juggle maybe.
Well, what's really interesting is I'm a Gemini, so there's two of me. And I always tell people I'm a little bit spa music and a little bit rock and roll kind of. So I work really well with the both higher selves, I guess, because I enjoy the time in my shop so much and helping people and reading cards for them and reading their energy. And it spills over into my classroom. I do a lot of mindfulness with my students. I have this beautiful, peaceful area in my classroom. The whole classroom has ambient lighting in it. I have a salt lamp and singing bowls and so many stones and crystals and different things. And the students really gravitate toward that. And I work in a very supportive environment that allows me to mesh both worlds that I love so much.
That's amazing, isn't it? So, okay, so there's a lot of people out there that are dealing with their children at the moment. What age do you teach?
I am actually very blessed. I work in a school that has pre-K through 12th grade students. And I am so fortunate that I get to teach high school and middle school and sometimes pieces of elementary.
Wonderful. So what mindfulness activities do you do in the class that parents can do at home?
Well, one of the most important things that I do with my students, and they're all grade levels and ability levels, is I teach them that they are in control of their thoughts and their feelings, and that every day is an interview that you don't know that you're having. And if you find yourself becoming overwhelmed by the day, the first thing that you can do is go back to your breath. And then I teach them several different breathing techniques. I teach them 4 square breath. I teach them 1 in and 1 out. And I really let them know that they are in charge and they can control their reactions and their behavior and their feelings just by their breath. And it makes such a big difference.
That's so amazing. So you're actually setting them up to manifest the way of life that they want.
Absolutely.
And that's just so amazing, It's just, well done to you, because that's what, we're not taught that. We weren't taught that in my era at school of how to deal with things. It was
certainly not in mine either.
No. And the emotional side and how to deal with life and to breathe and to take a step back, that's just, wonderful. And the kids would absolutely love that. Now let's talk about your reading. So when somebody comes to you for a reading, what sort of readings do you do?
Well, it all depends on the person and their energy when they come into my room or they call me on the phone or they walk into my shop. They may ask for either a psychic or reading or a mediumship experience while reading, or they may just ask for cards. But when they walk in, I immediately pick up on their energy, and I connect with them psychically first, and then from there I move on to what type of reading that they need, and then I'm totally led by spirit. And I am led by spirit to which deck, how many decks, whether it needs to be dousing with a pendulum, whether I need to ask them more questions. It all lends back to the energy that I am receiving and picking up in on the person.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So I know that we talk, and I know that you use my cards. I'm a Manifestor Magical Oracle cards, and I really love that. And we touch base off and on, and we bounce off one another. If somebody came to you and wanted to manifest something and they couldn't do it, and it was feeling like a bit of a block for them to do it, how would you, even with your past life regression, would you go back and take them into a past life regression to help them remove blocks?
Well, first, I have to kind of assess the person through conversation. Are they blocking something because they're carrying past contracts and vows from a previous life? Or are they living in the negative instead of living in the now, and realizing that they already have access to every single thing that they want to manifest, and that they have to understand that thoughts really do become things, and that you can have whatever you desire as long as you're paying attention to the signs that the universe is presenting you. And it took me kind of going through hell and back to realize that myself. And through my own personal experiences, I'm able to pull from them the information that I need to see which avenue we need to help them manifest. Mostly it's believing that they can, because a lot of people forget that they have that intrinsic.
Yep, they do. So you just said that you went to hell and back. How did you get yourself out of hell? That's what I'm going to ask you. How did you get yourself out of there?
Well, I lost my mom and dad at a really young age.
Right.
And I was 21 when I lost my mom and 23 when I lost my dad. And then my husband and we lost a baby in between. And as I stifled all that down, I kind of packed it away. And then about 2004, maybe, I was physically ill. I was working a ridiculous amount of hours. I was trying to be the best mom, the best wife, the best teacher, and I just was in this downward spiral where on the outside I looked happy and I was having everything I wanted, but inside I was in just a very, very dark place.
Yeah, that was really sad. So how did you get yourself out of there? What steps did you take?
The universe is just an amazing, amazing substance, because it can take something and put it right in front of you, and that is kind of the metaphorical slap in the face that you need.
Yeah.
I had quite a bit of loss in one year, and I was like, you know what? I'm done waiting for everything. I'm done waiting for things to come to me. I can do whatever I want and be whomever I want and go wherever I would choose to go. And as long as I pay attention, and little by little, I started to see, okay, so I wanted to travel. I traveled. I wanted to start reading cards for people because I thought it was fun. I started doing that. And it was just such a beautiful journey to this point right now. It's amazing.
Well, that's great. So I can hear some feedback there. So you manifested it and it started to open the doors for you. And that's what happens, doesn't it? It's actually like realizing it and stepping forward. It's beautiful. And I'm so glad that you have. It's so you're also a Reiki master and a life coach, and you're very intuitive. You're an intuitive medium. So I know that in my life, to make it better early on, I actually I started to do courses in spirituality and different modalities to help me, because I just couldn't seem to change anything externally. But it wasn't until I found out that I had to unpack the internal stuff, and then I started doing the spiritual things, and that really changed my life, and that really got me to where I am now, and it's being the best version of yourself, but knowing that you were right, knowing that you can do things and don't put them off,
Right.
when you're in the flow, really go for it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's so important to do just what you said. You have to do a lot of self-reflection and a lot of self-discovery and branching off and taking whatever classes that you want to take, and really working at being the very best you that you absolutely can. And it has to be for yourself, not for anyone else.
Yeah, true. So what's the best spiritual modality or course that you've ever done that you felt that's had the biggest impact on your life?
anything really by Julian Jenkins on Udemy. He has such a way of making you realize what you already know, that that you're a conduit for source and spirit, and that you are in control. Sometimes spirit would come and I would be like, whoa. And I didn't know that I could be like, you know what? This is not the time. I need more time. Um, and I learned that through his courses. And I also learned that when you're with a sitter, that in order to give them the very best experience, you have to connect with them and really listen and search for that evidential material that is going to make them hear what you're saying and that it's really meaningful to them. And that was special.
Yeah, it is. They need to resonate with you, don't they? They really need to. You need to hit the soul and the heart when you're talking to somebody and you're giving them a reading and you're trying to help them. Yeah, it's perfect. Your life is moving forward. Like, you're still teaching. You've got your crystal shop, but you are also out there speaking with other women and doing and on a platform and talking. So things have started to open up for you even more.
Yes. Yes,
So,
I feel so incredibly blessed. And you know what I wanted to share was your book was almost like a class for me. Reading your book, I learned so much about myself. It was a really special connection.
yeah. For anybody, the book is called 7/8 of Me, A Tale of a Spiritual Adventurer. So that's why I wrote it. I wanted to do manifesting tools. That's why I made the card and the book, so that people could actually just identify with just another normal being, going through the struggles of self-doubt, and then seeing that the doors can open when you unpack stuff and you make room for new things, that you can actually have fun doing it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
A past life regression too. That was so eye-opening to me, and I learned so much about myself and the reason I do things. And of course, you know that we're walking around in this physical body, and we bring things from us from back and back and back and forward and forward and forward. And once you recognize that, it is just life-changing.
Yes, it is. It is, isn't it? So how do you manifest? I said a moment ago that you're doing these new with women on a platform and on a stage and speaking and those sorts of things. How did you manifest that?
Well, it's really so very interesting. As about 20 years ago, I started going to expos that
Yeah.
had psychic mediums, and I thought to myself, I really would love to do this. This would be really fun. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to sign up for one. And I did that about 5 or 6 years ago. And 3 years ago, I went to this one place. It just, spirit just kept leading me, and the universe just kept leading me to Central New York. And at this one huge expo, I met the most incredible women. And from there, this whole thing just developed. And and each step that I move forward and each new person that I meet opens me up to new adventures. And I've always wanted to write a book. I'm writing a book. I mean, it's incredible.
That's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. So the expos and things. So now you're doing that. You're working with a group of women, and you're talking, and you're getting the information out. And it's just allowing, isn't it? And just trusting that
Yeah,
you're being guided to go to the right place.
absolutely. And you know what? You really have to listen to your inner self, because if something doesn't feel right, well, don't do it. It might not be the right time for you, but if it shows you, then by all means, jump into it feet first, even if you have fear, because it is showing you your path, and that's where you must belong.
That's so true, so profound, and so very, very true. And I think our logical minds as human beings get in the way. We're lucky that we're spiritual and that we can actually live in synchronicity and go with the signs. And even after doing this for 30, 35 years, I'm still fearful about some things, and I hold myself back to my own detriment. But when it's to do with my spiritual life, I go guns blazing at 100%, and it's really, really easy to do that, isn't it?
It is. But sometimes I forget myself, and the outside world smothers me a little bit, and I become lost and worry and fear and doubt. And then either a song will come on, or I'll be led to some certain video, or I'll see a crow or something. Will be like, excuse me, Crystal, you forgot yourself, and this is what you need to be doing right now. And last Saturday, I was in a horribly sour state. Nothing was pleasing me. And then I was outside doing something, and the wind chimes just sounded so beautiful, and it brought me back to where I needed to be, so you have to pay attention.
You do, don't you? I talking last night about like being present and being and allowing. And when you're in the spiritual flow, everything's easy, and you go from one synchronicity to another sign, to another message, and you just flow like that. And then when you go up into your head, it just, you freeze a little bit, don't you? And it's stagnant, and it doesn't move forward. And so I always bring myself and breathe back into my heart, so I get back into the heart and the soul space, so that I can get back into the flow. You're right, it is hard. But generally, like you said, something comes up. Going out in nature always brings me back to, back to that space.
That is the very best place for me to be. Literally, if I am in a sour place, I take my shoes off and I head outside. And it doesn't matter if there's snow on the ground or not. It just grounds me. And I do a lot of grounding work. I find when I connect to the earth, it brings me back to my heart and where I need to be.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with a lot of people, with your teaching, and then at your crystal shop, and then doing readings, we're empathic and intuitive. You can take on people's energies. And so I always say, when I'm finished talking to somebody, in my mind, I give back to Crystal, that is hers with love and light, and I take back from Crystal, that is mine with love and light, just to put the energy back where it's got to be.
Absolutely. I share that statement with people all the time.
Yeah.
And they're always surprised. They're like, wait a minute. I said, as long as you lead with love and light, that is, you have to give them back what is theirs and take from them what is yours, but always lead with love and light. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And bringing your energy back to you. Like, I can remember doing Reiki, and they tested our energy field with tuning forks to see how far it went out. And I went, oh, my God. So when I go out and about, I make sure that I really bring my energy back to me. And so all of that helps manifest, helps me manifest, because you're keeping your energy, you're staying in the present moment.
Yes.
You're breathing, you're bringing the energy back to you, you're bringing a clearer channel, you're going to where you're supposed to go, and you're in the flow. So that's really, it's perfect for manifesting, isn't it?
It is such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
Like literally right now, when I look outside, it's nighttime here. The sky is purple and pink.
Oh, beautiful.
And I just feel like that's such a beautiful message to me about this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm supposed to be right now, you know?
Yeah, great. So look at the colours that we're using. So, you know, we've got the pinks and the purples there. And the pink is, you know, your rose quartz, and the purple is your higher self. So that's a perfect place to be. But it's recognizing those things and not being so caught up in social media and so caught up in, you know, what you've got to do or the past or about other people. You know, I think if somebody came to you and wanted help with manifesting, what would be the one thing that you would tell them?
That they already have the ability to manifest the beautiful life that they want. They just have to believe that they can do it. And that the more positive energy that you live in and the more that you go back to your heart space, the more you're going to allow to come in. And you're not always going to wake up in a good mood. You're not always going to go to bed at night in a good mood, but before your feet hit the floor every day, live in gratitude, even if it's just for waking up.
Yeah.
If you live in the space of gratitude and keep into that heart space, you can manifest the life that you want.
Yeah. And it's not just being gratitude about family and friends and jobs and stuff like that. It's really about, you know, your health, your happiness, and all about the feelings that you want to bring in, isn't it? It's just a wonderful place to be. So that's wonderful. I'm really glad that we touch base, that we connect. I love hearing from you, and I love seeing your journey and your manifesting journey, and I love being able to help every now and again with that. You know, I just absolutely love that, you know.
I do. And you know what is so really, it's manifesting. I manifested you into my life, apparently. And how else would I come in contact with a person on the other side of the world that is so like-minded with myself?
Yes.
It's just purely beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It's great. I mean, I'm in Tasmania, Australia. That's where I live. And where do you live?
I live in the Adirondacks in New York State, near Lake Placid.
Yeah. So, you know, with such a distance, one day we'll meet, one day we'll do some work together, one day we might even be on stage together. And so that's what we're putting out there to the universe. You know, we're growing, and we're sharing our knowledge, and people need to know, you know, what things that we did. You know, we didn't all start off being perfect spiritual people. You know, I love the fact that you help your kids at school, that you've got a mindfulness area. I love the fact that we staying present and being in the heart space, and you know, I just think that that's just such a good tip for people, that, you know, when they're manifesting, know that it's your major message was know that you can, it's within you.
Absolutely. And once that you find that within yourself and recognize it, your whole physical being will change. If you look at photographs of me from 15 years ago, I look like a completely different person. It's just everything about you will light up from the inside out.
True.
You know?
You shine, don't you?
Pardon?
You just shine, don't you? So when you get into that spiritual thing, it just shines. And I'm 54 years old. I don't feel 54. I've never felt my age. I'm a Leo anyway. But I enjoy life. I absolutely love life.
Me too. I'm going to be 52 on the 25th of this month. So
happy birthday for this month.
Thank you. I literally feel so young.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful. I mean, age is just a number, they say, and they're right.
Yeah, they are. Well, that's it for us. I hope you've got some wonderful tips from Crystal. Crystal, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for the invitation, and I'm looking forward to visiting with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.